This is Lewis Hart for Boxing Social in association with Empire Fight Store and Forged Irish Stout. Delighted to be joined with rising heavyweight contender, the real deal, Sol Dacres. How's things, mate? How have you been keeping?
Yeah, all good, man. Just in the gym working, same old stuff, living the life, the boxing life.
Absolutely, for sure, mate, for sure. I suppose obviously meant to be out in about last month in March. Didn't happen. And no fight date as of yet. Been a bit frustrating start to 2024, would you say?
Yeah, like you say, I was supposed to be out March. I was, on the original poster for the show, went to the press conference. Didn't happen, and then I've been told April, now I've been told May. So it seems to be one of those phases, the fighters get them every so often where they're just not quite sure when the next fight's going to be, but hopefully it's sooner rather than later.
I suppose how do you deal with that as a fighter? Is it frustrating like that, or is it just as about sort of
Yeah,
just keep ticking over, I guess?
yeah, it's obviously you got to stay in the gym. I'm staying in the gym, staying sparring. The main thing is really just trying to not burn out. So, when I knew I wasn't fighting on the March card, just ease it back for a week maybe. I'm still in the gym, but just maybe ease off the sparring for a week. You just got to try not to overdo it too much until you got that date confirmed. But also, you never know when it can come, so you got to kind of stay on it as well.
For sure, for sure. Obviously, in March, when it got announced that you was on the card, I suppose you were, it was a, to be announced who the opponent was. Many people link that to be potentially David Adeleye. To your knowledge, why didn't you fight it on March 16th?
Just from all I know is that they didn't take the fight on the date. That's all it comes down to. We was ready. Offer was there. They didn't take the fight for that date. So that's this year as much as I could tell you.
Do you think it's a case of, suppose he's coming off the Wardley loss that I suppose he wouldn't really want to take the risk against you?
Yeah, of course, it's not obviously an ideal fight for him to take after that loss, but if he wants to get back in the mix, he's straight back into English title level. He should be great for that. He can get back in the mix and maybe get himself back somewhere. But like you say, man, I don't know if he really wanted it.
I was going to say, like, I suppose that's a fight that you want, but you don't really want to be waiting around for whatever David Adeleye wants to do.
Exactly, I've got to focus on my own career. My management are still, there's still things going on. We can, potentially get that fight on. But like I said, I had a date in March, had a date in April. Now they're telling me May. Don't seem to be like what they want. But I think hopefully try and put some pressure on it. Just get the fight. But it's out of my control, man.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. And I suppose for yourself, how exciting is it in 2024 where you do see the heavyweight picture moving very excitingly with so much things going on that you can also be involved in that?
Yeah, definitely. I wanted a British title this year. That's my goal at the end of the day. I just wanted one more fight and then go for the British title. I wanted the winner of Wardley Clarke, and it's turned out to be a draw,
Yeah.
unfortunately. So that's going to probably be pushed back again after a rematch or whatever. But I want to get my hands on the British title as well. I feel like I'm ready to get myself in there for that title. So I just got to keep looking ahead.
What did you make of Fabio Wardley and Frazer Clarke? That fight, obviously you would ideally have like the winner in this say that draw doesn't really come to your mind, but taking away from, I suppose, taking yourself away from that picture, what did you make of the fight as a fan?
Yeah, it was a good fight at the end of the day. It was a good back and forth scrap. Early on, Frazer was jabbing his head off and, catching him some good, clean, tidy boxing. And I knew, anyone that asked me, I said, Frazer can control him with his jab and stuff like that. It's just whether he can maintain and whether he gets clipped by Wardley, he's got a bit of power. And, he sort of did sway that way as well. Frazer was hitting him with some good uppercuts as well consistently. But, Wardley showed, the dogged mentality to try and come back, put Frazer down as well. And it was a good back and forth.
You spent some time around Frazer, and obviously Fabio as well is a known contender. Was there anything that surprised you in that fight from the two fighters?
No, do you know what? From watching it, it kind of went the way I thought that it would go. To be fair, nothing really surprised. Probably, it looked like Wardley was very tired in the latter rounds. if maybe a little bit more tired than Fraser, and I thought it might be the other way around. They was both very tired, and
Yeah.
like after about 6 rounds, 7 rounds, you could see that the pace was taking its toll on them. But Wardley seemed to be maybe deteriorating a bit more than Fraser in the last few rounds.
As a contender and I suppose you can say a rival to either of them two. When you're watching that fight, are you looking at it like, I can expose them there, I can expose them that? Like, are you looking at them sort of things when you're watching those fights?
Yeah, I'm looking at that as I could be fighting one of these very soon. So yeah, of course I'm looking at these little things and looking and thinking, right, I feel like, at this stage I could be doing this, that, or the other, certain things. So yeah, I'm definitely watching it from an analytical standpoint as well.
For sure, for sure. And I suppose, whatever happens in the rematch, I did want to focus, I suppose, on the aspect of yourself fighting Fraser potentially. How do you approach a fight like that with someone that you have known, you spent time on GB together?
Yeah,
I think the build up to the fight would be exciting, but I suppose how do you approach a fight like that with a guy who is known to you, I guess?
just got to, put the hard work in training camp. Just work hard. Just really work as hard as I can in training, prepare myself, strategically as well. And, I've done loads and loads of rounds with Fraser. So, I've got to just rack my own brains more than anyone to, pinpoint things that I feel like will work and things that I can exploit and such. It's going to be one of them where I'm going to have to, put a good strategy together and just work extremely hard like I always am.
Do you think it works in a positive factor, the fact you have done loads of rounds with Fraser, and I suppose there's nothing that is an unknown entity, I guess?
Yeah, it could be, but it's the same both ways. For every round,
Mm.
I've done with him, he's done with me. So, it's both ways. It's who can maybe draw something from it. Sometimes, I've been sparring him over the years, you can't remember every spar, but I might remember a few little things here and there that I might be, okay, I've got to watch for this, or certain habits might be able to pick up and think of. So yeah, but it could be that for both ways.
And I suppose on a point of view, if you don't mind saying this, when you're on GB and you've got heavyweight rivals and stuff,
Mm.
whilst you're sparring each other and you're fighting sort of just suppose friend, you could say you're friendly with each other. Is there ever times in the back of your mind when you think, maybe when we both turn pro, we might have to, fight one day, whether it maybe not be Fraser, but anyone else you might have, spent time with in GB or I suppose in the amateurs?
Yeah, definitely. It's boxing, and anyone that's in your weight category, there's a possibility to fight at the end of the day. You've got to spar someone, and these guys are also fighters. So, of course, there's every chance you're going to meet in the ring at some point. But you just take every fight as it comes, and when you get matched up with someone, and you just matched up with them. But until then, you just got to focus on yourself.
Absolutely, for sure. And I suppose sticking on the topic of sparring, I'm sure loads of people have asked you about when you sort of shared rounds with Tyson Fury in the lead up to the Ngannou fight. He's obviously got a fight coming up against Oleksandr Usyk. From what you've seen of Fury in the lead up to the Ngannou fight and the rounds that you've shared with him, what do you think of the fight with Usyk? I suppose if you can give us sort of a better knowledge of a breakdown with that fight.
Yeah, yeah. I feel like with Usyk, he's gonna. I feel like he's gonna be a bit more aggressive than he was with Ngannou, and let his hands go a bit more. Because I feel like with Ngannou, when he put him down, he thought, right, I'm gonna watch out here because one shot here, one mistake, he's put me up, put me over, and if I do that again, I could get put over again. So he's a bit more wary. With Usyk, I feel like he's gonna feel like he can catch and ride the shots and be
Yeah.
aggressive, and might be able to take a few. He's not gonna want to take them, yeah, but he might be able to take a few to give a few sort of thing. I think it's gonna be a much better fight than the Ngannou one, and a much better performance.
And I suppose when you look at it from a boxing point of view, what do you think are the keys to victory when you're fighting someone who is significantly smaller than you and a little bit more slippery than you? When when you see the discrepancy, the height and weight discrepancy between Fury and Usyk, what are sort of keys to victory when you're fighting someone who's a little bit smaller and slippery?
Yeah, you've got to you got to put the pressure on him. Use your advantages. I feel like he's gonna, throw two or three, and whatever he can land, maybe smother him, hold him for a few seconds. Club him on the inside, break up. I don't think he's gonna want to be, on the edge of the range the whole fight. Tippy tapping because it could be one shot for one shot sort of thing. I think he's gonna want to maybe take one, put it on him a little bit, wrap him up, and try and win the exchanges. Just get the better of those exchanges like that.
Absolutely, for sure. So just before we do finish off, for yourself, being a British heavyweight, you sort of you want that British title shot? Are you happy to sort of wait and sit, sort of wait for the winner of Wardley Clarke? Would you say?
Well, I want to go for the title myself. Would I say I'm happy? I just do what it's out of my control. So when things like that are out of my control, I just keep my mindset neutral, to be honest, because what can I
Yeah,
do about it?
yeah. I suppose, is that an important thing for yourself, that throughout your career in boxing, there's a lot of uncontrollable. So an emphasis that,
Mm.
whatever I can't do, I suppose it can't harm you, I guess.
Exactly. I've just got to focus on myself. When my own opportunities come, I take them. Keep pressing forward. What I can control, I can control. What I can't, I can't. So, I can't get too caught up in what I can't control.
Absolutely, for sure. So, just want to say thank you for taking time to speak to you. Really, really good to catch up
But
with you, and so let's talk about all different boxing topics, mate. So hopefully we'll get some news soon on when the next fight could be.
hopefully, man. Hopefully, man. Thank you very much for having me.
Definitely, top man, mate. Thank you. Cheers for that.